PURRELY. Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. I can't roll my R's. If you can, congrats, good for you. Because the new archetype PURRELY, I think, could be the future of competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know about the future. It could just be a part of it, though. Like, it may not be tier 0, may not even be tier 1, but I think it could be definitely a tier 2 deck. This deck looks really, really strong. Doesn't need its normal summon that much. It has a ton of tools, doesn't lock you into anything, and we're going to talk about that today. So if you don't know, there's a new archetype coming out in Amazing Defenders in the TCG coming January, which is very exciting alongside of Mikanko and Rescue Ace, but to me, this is by far the leading deck out of that set so far. We'll see how more future support goes for those archetypes to see if things change, but yeah, I think the leader's definitely PURRELY. Really cool Exceed-based deck. I'm going to go through it real quick. We also got 2 new cards revealed for Cyberstorm access for the deck. Absolutely huge for the deck. Specifically, the new main deck monster is awesome. But yeah, I think it's important to note that, listen, there's a ton of dual replays out there. The deck looks good. The deck really, really looks solid in a lot of these replays, especially with the new cards. It's making decent plays. It's making respectable, like, control-y setups. You have very minimal normal summons in the deck. In fact, you only normal summon them if you draw them, and if you don't draw them, you're fine with it. Because the only 2 main deck monsters are PURRELY and Lily. They both can plus you 1, and they both allow you to rank up into your rank 2 package, which is very, very cool. You have an awesome search card in PURRELY, my friend. It's almost like Cursed Outland. It's continuous in every turn. Pay 500, get a free PURRELY card from the deck. Also, it allows your PURRELY Exceed monsters to float insanely hard. Like, it adds up to 3 PURRELY quick play spells from grave back to hand when they're removed from the field. So good. The field spell also offers really good utility. It has a little bit of protection, a little bit of extra floating, and the ability to put any quick play spell as a material on any of your Exceeds. That also comes up because the quick plays give effects to an Exceed when it's attached as material, which is pretty cool. And yeah, then for the quick plays, all the quick plays kind of do the same thing. So they have like a little mini effect, then they discard a card and special summon a PURRELY level 1 monster from the deck. So either of the 2 we showed at the beginning, they're all just emergency teleports. And then when they're also attached to a PURRELY Exceed as material, they give a bonus effect, like such as a pretty big buff based on how many materials it has, multiple attacks, the ability to steal any opponent's card and attach it to it as material, and a draw during the opponent's standby phase. So, like, not the worst effects, especially when you consider that you can get to the point where you have, like, 3-4 of these attached to the same monster. That monster draws every opponent's standby phase. It can steal a card every turn. It's huge because of the buff, and it can attack multiple times, just on top of what the Exceeds, like, already do, which is decent. That's really crazy. That little bit, those things kind of stack up and they make like for a pretty crazy boss monster. Plus, E-Telly's insane, so love that. And the only trap in the archetype is this one. It allows you to rank up into one of the boss monsters and from grave put PURRELY monsters back in a deck. Cool for the grind, I guess this card. Could be a one of, but I'm not entirely sure yet. Then we get to the Exceed. So the 3 main rank 2s are Beauty, Happiness, and Plump. Plump can grab spells and traps from the graveyard and attach it to it as material. Happiness can search a PURRELY card when it battles, and Beauty can just imperm, target a monster on the field and negate it. This and Plump's effect both become quick effects when they have their corresponding quick play as material. She needs she needs memory. He needs. I'm sorry. Oh wait, this one. I thought this one needed. I think it's supposed to be Beauty or whatever, Pretty. I don't remember. I think they need different ones to gain their bonus. Whatever. I think there's a typo here. And then they also like have a bonus effect when a PURRELY quick play spell is activated while it's on the field. So like this one can change a battle position of a card. This one can bounce a spell or trap, and this one can just Farfa, banish a monster till the end phase. So pretty cool effects. Especially when you consider they can get you into your boss monsters here. Happiness helps you end games, especially since it burns for 15 every time it attacks. So if it's got that huge buff from memory, Delicious Memory, that's a 300 buff to it, which should be like almost an 1800 buff. So 4300 attacks twice potentially, and just deals 15 every time it attacks. You're just winning games with that card. And then Noir. So this is like your main boss monster. This card is crazy. Oh, so by the way, I didn't even mention this. These cards can be made by overlaying them on top of a rank 2 that has 5 or more materials. So that's why cards like Plump are really good, because he can take... Not only is he going to have 2 materials, but then he's going to take 2 Speller Traps from Grave and attach them. And then any other way you have to put a material on him will make him viable to transform into one of your big boss monsters, which is great. Noir is insane. While it has 5 or more materials, it is unaffected by all activated effects from your opponent. And secondly, this card can attach 2 materials to target any card on field or in grave of your opponents. Put it on the bottom of the deck. This is a quick effect if this card has a level 1 Purrely monster as material. Because you're overlaying this on a Purrely rank 2 with 5 or more materials, this card should have 3 separate activations of this. This is not even once per turn, so a non-once per turn, like, shuffle. Well, not even shuffle. Put a card on the bottom of the deck. While this card is unaffected by card effects, crazy. This card is insane. Yeah, so the goal is going to be make this card early and often, and this card will lead you to a lot of victories. So, yeah, I think his archetype's in a really good place. I think it has a lot of awesome tools, consistency, and the fact that every single quick play is just a starter. Opening your monsters can still be starters, specifically Lily. Your continuous spell is a searcher starter. Like, the deck has hella consistency, almost no bricks aside from, like, I guess hard drawing the field spell or the trap, but as long as you could still get to an Exceed while those are up, you're fine. Those cards are going to be worth it, and they're only one-ofs anyway. And then you just have a ton of utility here. Also, keep in mind, no restrictions on these cards whatsoever. So Zeus is amazing in this deck because you're just able to abuse Zeus so easily. The only reason this deck is probably worse than something like Zodiac at abusing Zeus is just because Zodiac doesn't even need to activate any effects to get into Zeus, right? It's just normal summon, overlay. You do still have to activate Purrely and Lily to get them into the rank 2s, so that you do give your opponent a little avenue to like negate and stuff. But if they negate one and you had a quick play, you could still quick play for the other, and you're kind of putting them on. You got to have separate ways to handle both of these, otherwise they're leading to a double activation Zeus, and I'm going to clear your shit. Right, so you can at least apply a lot of pressure that way, and that's obviously not including when you have like a Dark Ruler no more to turn off their board, then make Zeus send it all, right? And obviously that's pretty good as well. So yeah, like the deck is really cool. It has a lot of cool tools. Also, keep in mind with Sleepy Memory being the other new monster we got here, all of the other 3 quick plays have corresponding extra deck monsters. So for Beauty, Happiness, and Plump, they all correspond to like a specific one of those quick plays. We do not have a corresponding one for Sleepy Memory yet, so that's definitely something to keep in mind. We should be getting another Exceed, probably the core set after Cyberstorm Access, but obviously you would expect it to be pretty good. Like, why would you make another one that's useless when we already have 3? That makes no sense. We'll keep an eye out for it. If it's a really good piece, obviously that's great, and more utility, more options, we love it. So this deck has a lot of really good future, plus all of the quick play spells discard as effect, so when they do their thing. So there's also the potential to just combine with the deck, like an engine that's good at being sent to grave, getting you value from there. I don't know. Like you could literally play the Ishizu Fairies, because you can just pitch them off of these just to get them to grave, and boom, the shufflers are live. You know what I mean? Like random ass shit like that can still be really broken in that way. So there's a ton of options. I cannot wait to see what people come up with as far as combining with the deck. I think there's a world where you could play it somewhat pure, but because most of the time you're just summoning your guys straight out of the deck, I don't necessarily think you have to like bank too hard on playing a pure variant. I do think there's going to be ways to play like a secondary engine to the deck, maybe something that's a little more normal summon oriented. We'll have to wait and see. But the future for the deck is really bright. I can't wait to see what people end up coming up with for deck lists for this archetype, and I will definitely be picking it up and doing deck profiles and messing around with it at locals and otherwise. So yeah, just a really cool archetype, guys. I want to know your guys' thoughts on it overall. I don't know if this is going to be tier 0, but I really do think there's legit potential to be tier 1, potentially float around there, tier 2 with potential depending on the current format, just because of the crazy amount of utility the deck has access to. But yeah, I'm going to get out of here for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, let me know your thoughts down below on the Purrely archetype and where you land on them competitively. Do you think they're going to be good? Or do you like them? Are you terrified of them and you're not excited for them? Let me know your thoughts on all that stuff down below. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.